Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear, and I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, and if you're Tier 2, you get the blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not a subscriber, you can say hi, or you can use other people's emotes, or you could just be a lurker. Mingledorf said heyo before the stream started, which we appreciate. Arctic Sloth is here. Welcome, Arctic Sloth. Ghost Valve is here, and Lashbrook is here. We got a great crew already. Speaking of great crews, the 36 people that are currently subscribers to the old Build With Baer are part of the great crew, the Bear Cave. And if you want to join the Bear Cave, the current goal is 40 subscribers. We are currently at 36, as you can see in the corners. I can't. You know, I'm at 36. I'm trying to get to 40. 40 is like where we definitely want to be. Like, it's the bottom of the barrel. Like, okay, we hit 40. Things are going to be okay. I should get a payout every month. We got to go higher than that, but we got to get to 40 before we go higher. Lord Fashion is here saying, hey, Pat. Hey to you. Welcome. It's Monday. Tonight, we are working on the Aesculapius model kit right here. Aesculapius. We finished the top portion of the kit. We're working on the legs. We're going to try to finish the legs tonight. Maybe we'll get to the waist. Maybe we'll get the waist done. There's not much to the waist. And then we do have to then build the backpack because it's needed. Sharks 2K just subscribed with Prime. Survey says, looks like another sub for the bear guy. Oh, yeah. I'm going to throw the Bear Cave Lego Scythe and blue emote in the chat. Throw those emotes in there. And, of course, we'll hit the old applause saying thanks to Sharks 2K as we go to the big board. And by big board, I mean the numbers I put here. And why wouldn't that work? Oh, it's locked. It's not locked. What the? It's not locked. All right, now we go and edit, properties, pop that over to 37. We are at 37 out of 40. The goal, of course, is 40 and beyond. Ristafan's here. What's up, Ristafan? Happy to have you here. As always, we'll get to the model kit building in a second. Tonight, it's Manga Monday. Manga Monday is this thing I started doing because I was running out of anime to talk about because it would be like the end of a season, or Mondays would be like there wouldn't be enough shows that I wanted to talk about. Also, because Monday seems to be the day I have the least to say of any day of the week. There isn't a lot of like breaking news to chat about. Generally, wrestling, I've been leading up to wrestling events that happen on a Saturday or Sunday, and I don't really talk as much about the fallout of said wrestling events. So Manga Monday also helps with that. I will have 2 shows to talk about every week, and they are both Isekai. And then tonight, I will wrap up my thoughts on Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie, which had started late in the last season and also had like 2 weeks off. So it finally wrapped up in 12 episodes. What a lovely show. I am not dropping any frames, but I am occasionally having issues with my dashboard. But that's okay. It'll be fine. But yeah, so tonight we're gonna talk about that. I have a video game that I have not talked about on this stream before that I played a little bit yesterday in the morning. And then we'll probably talk a little bit about, I think we'll start with this. I'm going to go ahead and reply to my own tweet, see if we can get a few more friends in here. I'm going to retweet my tweet so they see my great, excellent photo I took of myself holding a model kit next to the photo of said model kit. And maybe they'll want to come hang out. And then we'll get into model kit building. Let's see the kit here before we get into it. I moved my overhead light. It is now way closer. It should not show up at all in the build process, but it should illuminate what I'm building. It's actually just a hair in. Let's do there. Now you won't see it. Great. Now you won't see it. But it's still work in progress. But I have the place for it to be where it is should not be in the way of my shot or anything, and it illuminates without, also, it's lower than my face, so it doesn't also throw extra light on my face, which I don't need. because I have a light for that. So I think this is going to be our current lighting setup. It looks pretty good. Anyway, let's get into building. So, like anything, any athletic endeavor, obviously anything at all, but let's specifically talk about athletic endeavors. In any athletic endeavor, there are going to be people that don't understand how if you are not seemingly physically fit, there is a belief that you do not belong in said thing or that you have a ceiling. Whereas folks that are incredibly physically fit or incredibly good looking or anything like that, they don't have a ceiling. They can go way higher. Which in the world of professional wrestling, where cardio is certainly important, going is certainly important, physical talent is certainly important, but it's not a sport, and anything is possible, and any body type is viable. It's about the performance, not necessarily the shape of the performer. It always feels really weird and also fucking gross. And this weekend there was a whole thing about how, like, the day after, Saturday night, I talked a bit about how I never went out of my way to try to book Eddie Kingston for anything in the comedy wrestling show that I did. I never tried to book Eddie because Eddie is just too real and too believable. Then, of course, there was a minor, person talking on the internet that nobody cares about, nobody knows, but it was still a topic of conversation and a excuse to dunk on people. Basically said that, if Eddie was in better shape, he would, his career would have gone farther. Which is no. If Eddie Kingston wasn't a maniac, his career would have gone farther than it has. If Eddie Kingston played the ball better, his career would have gone farther than it had. But that's not, his look doesn't, close doors. His look is part of his package. As he says himself, he likes to eat food. He likes Five Guys, and he likes to eat a little bit and go out there and have a good time. And he likes to hit people in the ring, I should specify. And in a old quote of his, it doesn't matter, mind your business. I don't go. God, what was the exact quote? I'm trying to remember the exact quote. It's something to the effect of, I don't tell you how to mop the floors. Because you'll never step in the ring, so don't tell me that stuff. Didn't start because he was defending Adam Cole because people were body shaming him. Eddie Kingston does respect catering. They do a good job. I don't actually, Lastberg, I'll admit, I don't know, because it's one of those things where this is on me. I can't, when people start talking shit like that, and especially when it gets into body shaming, I am not objective when it comes to body shaming. As a man that has always been, quote unquote, overweight and quote unquote unhealthy, and told by many people many things that were things I would I would refrain from repeating. I have no tolerance for it, so I didn't investigate. But yeah, look, there are a lot of different kinds of body types out there. Also, let's be honest, part of Eddie Kingston's appeal is that he doesn't give up. And if he was in an excellent cardio shape, if he had abs, that story is harder to tell. It's harder to tell if he's looked like he came out of a bodybuilding magazine. That's a story that's different to tell. Also, hey, I've never run into an issue with anyone that spent all their time in the gym. I've never been afraid of a bodybuilder because they don't know how to move. But guys like Eddie, yeah, those are the guys that I'm not getting in the way of, making sure they're settled, making sure they're all right, not getting in the way of. There are people who have Eddie Kingston in real life has a laugh where I could not in the moment tell if he was laughing because he was enjoying himself or laughing because he was feeling like, can you believe this guy? And it was going to become a thing. I could not tell. Other people know him obviously way better than I know him. When I describe Chikara and hanging out with Chikara people, I say the nicest bunch of comedy dorks you've ever met. Heidi, the coolest girl in the room, most punk rock coolest girl, one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, and Eddie. And Eddie has a good time and enjoys himself. And the 3 or 4 occasions that I spent time with him, I could not get a read on him, could not decide if he hated me or liked me or didn't think about me at all. He said the phrase, "that's good," and laughed, and I did not know what it meant. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Like, a comedy bit was happening at the table. And I was yes-anding because I'm an improv dork. And I yes-and comedy bits at the table. And Eddie Kingston looked me dead in the eyes, said, "that's good," and laughed. And I wasn't sure if I said the funniest thing he'd ever heard or if he wanted to kill me, or both. I don't know what else to tell you. When I say he's the realest man in wrestling, I mean it. Like, I have met people who are unstable wrestlers. Eddie Kingston isn't that. He is an intense wrestler. Keith Lee's another guy who's big and is an amazing athlete. Some people doubt him. Yes. Sharksuke, Keith Lee doubters are the wackiest like, what are they, like, what are you talking about? That man could do cartwheels all day. I don't know what, like, yeah, anytime those conversations come up, like, people were just like, I mean, how many years left does Keith Lee have? And it's just like, I do not want to tell you. I've also said this. You want to talk body type? Just look at Vader. Just look at Vader. Again, one of the hardest men in wrestling ever. Bam Bam Bigelow. Bam Bam motherfucking Bigelow. One of the scariest people in wrestling of all time. A specimen. Could go for days. Bam Bam Bigelow would wrestle 60-minute matches. God. Takes all kinds, it takes all types. Also, a lot of times, people that have a lot of muscles and abs can't move well. It's not fun to see. They just, if you ever see a wrestler of any era that just people run at them and then they knock them down, those are people that can't maneuver around the ring. They don't have to, and they're hiding that in their presentation, which is fine. It's totally okay. I don't know. It's possible to like a lot of different wrestlers that have a lot of different styles, and that is okay and allowed. It is my 3 favorite wrestlers right now are Orange Cassidy, Eddie Kingston, and Maki Ito. And none of them have anything in common in any of their styles. But those are still my favorite wrestlers. And Thunder Rosa's like in the top 5 right now. Because Thunder Rosa just can fucking work and is incredible. But yeah, it is possible and probable to that wrestling is big enough to take all shapes and sizes and styles and all of that. And you can find things you like about all of it. Ugh. It's very frustrating. We talk about body type. Negatively talk about body type. Because it is like... Because, like, the look can be intimidating. When you don't know a wrestler, you have nothing to go on the wrestler other than their name and their appearance. presentation matters, right? You can screw up presentation. You can really mess up a presentation and really blow it. You know, that's like the indies. Music means a lot because, especially on the indies, you don't have announcers. And so you're like, okay, what's this? What's this music that I'm hearing right now? Oh, I'm hearing Metallica. Okay, this is probably a hard-hitting wrestler coming out this song. Ooh, they're playing Why Can't We Be Friends? You know, like they did in The Simpsons for Homer. Okay, this is a comedy character. Great. That sounds like 70s porn music playing. All right, I think I have an idea of what this character is like. That's why, you know, Orange Cassidy came out to Jane because it's a cool song, but also from Wet Hot American Summer, which is the whole vibe of Orange Cassidy, is that kind of like Paul Rudd's character in that is like, yeah. So it's like, okay, you kind of get it a bit when you hear that. Like you can kind of understand and maybe even appreciate a wrestler if you know nothing about them based on the music that is playing. All right, this thing is, these are supposed to slide in between, I think. This is fun because I don't know enough about this kit to fully understand how these parts go together, which is very fun for me. I believe this is going to lock in here because there's spots for these, but it doesn't. Oh no, it goes like that. Okay, great. Goes like that. We're making progress, friends. Anyway, it very much frustrates me because there's just like so much other stuff to worry about in the world and in wrestling than like what people's body types look like. It's just like, just let people be. Let wrestlers be wrestlers. Like, hey, let's worry about their health. Let's worry about, you know, their injuries. Let's worry about, like, you know, all that stuff. Just like, there were some wrestlers, the wrestling fans, not wrestlers, wrestling fans talking about, you know, they were against that kind of stuff, but they were also talking about how, like, a wrestler looked very different and maybe they lost some weight in their face. And I didn't type into the chat, but or the conversation on Discord, but I should have. She's just wearing different makeup. It's just makeup. She's just wearing different makeup, and that makes her face look different, because that's what makeup does. And it's just like, I'm not going to get in a conversation about makeup with these people on the internet. But that's what it is. I was listening to the Return of the Power Bombcast. That's right. John Bomb has restarted the Power Bombcast. Who knows the schedule, but they did. And once again, there is a wrestling podcast made up of friends of mine and people I don't know that well. If you have a wrestling podcast, ask me to be a guest on it, is what I'm saying. Because, come on. At this point, come on. Come on. I was listening to the Return of the Power Bombcast and enjoyed everyone gushing about Eddie Kingston, plus Dan ranting about how WWE's audience's brands, not Reddit users. Yeah, I mean, yeah. WWE cares what Fox and the USA Network think. Because those are the people that are paying huge contracts to them to have television deals. And NBC Universal to a smaller extent. It's always awkward when you have to explain to a dude that they're being bamboozled by makeup. Yes. Because the thing is, it's like, makeup isn't lying. No one is tricking you. That's a larger thing. There's a smaller conversation about that I am not equipped to really get into. But no one is fooling you. It's not a trick. It's just a thing that happened. It's just people are wearing a thing and doing a thing, and it's okay that they are. And if you don't like it, that's also okay. I would say 95% of people who say they don't like makeup don't actually mean they don't like people to wear makeup. They mean they like makeup that presents a natural look. Because there is a difference between a natural look via makeup and not wearing makeup. And in fact, They actually like the natural look, because the people that say they don't like makeup are also the ones that point out, to say the phrase "you look tired" to people who are not wearing makeup that often do wear makeup, because the lack of makeup means that they have bags under their eyes because they are actually tired. But this is the thing that I know everyone in chat knows, but I'm going to repeat for the heavens. Maybe you're watching this on the VOD later. What's up, YouTube? People who are tired know they're tired, and people who aren't tired but their face just looks that way are actually tired of hearing about it. No one ever wants to be told that they look tired, makeup or not. They don't want to be told that. It's not a thing you need to say. You can just not say it. But yeah. I am not mad at anyone from Giant Bomb, by the way, I should say. I am slightly annoyed that I have never been a guest on the Power Bombcast, especially in the lean years, in the Austin left, we have less people, and Alex isn't watching as much wrestling, we have less people who are into this era, or Giancarlo left, it's there have been times where they stopped doing it, and then Jan got into it, and then you had Bacalar you could have on and stuff, but then again it kind of went away. It is the only Giant Bomb podcast that I've ever been when am I going to... Come on. Similar but slightly less annoyed. Anytime Jan did anything anime related, I'm not saying that the Jeff Bizarre Adventure stuff, because that's a regular series and that was a continual series, and you don't need me on for that. But if they do a one-off of a show, and it would make sense to have if they did a one-off where they watched a couple episodes of an Isekai and I didn't get asked to be on that, I would probably get annoyed, because why not have someone that watches almost every Isekai every season? That kind of thing. There'd be specific ways where I'd be really? Okay. All right. Silver Streak just subscribed to tier 1. That's 22 months, saying that's many months. It is. Let's hear the applause. Let's throw good evening to you. Let's throw the applause in the chat there. Throw the emotes. We applaud and we say thank you. Good evening, Silver Streak. Thank you for your continued support. Appreciate that very much. We're throwing the Bear Cave Lego Scythe and the blue emote for the tier 2 subscriber out there. But thank you very much for your continued support. It means a lot. Once again, folks, that is a recurring, which is great. We are currently at 37 subscribers. We would love to get to 40 subscribers. Just saying. If they did a Gunpla show and didn't ask you to guest on it. A little bit, like Jan did experimenting with a Lego stream, right? That's a solo stream. That's when they were doing solo streams. Doesn't have to call me up about that. He doesn't have to do that. That's okay. But yeah, especially if one of them was out. Let's say Vinny wants to build some Gunpla, Brad is traveling, and it's just Vinny and Alex. Have me on. You know what I mean? Have your friend Pat on to talk about Gunpla with you as you build Gunpla. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If I have expertise, and especially if my friends are shorthanded, have me on. You know what I mean? They were very kind to have me on for their $5 and up podcast tier, or $10 and up, and then $5 gets later, whatever. They had me on the Ramblecast when I was promoting Plasma Weekender, which was very kind of them. So I'm not trying to be negative about the thing, but I'm just using it as an example. Have you talked about Last Call BBS yet and how rad the model building is in it? I built all the models before I touched any of their games. Silver Streak, I'm going to play that on Wednesday, actually. So I have watched people play. I've watched multiple people play that particular game, but I was saving it for a stream because I think it'll be really fun to the first time I'm ever going to do masking on a stream will be digital masking, which I think is very fun. So I am looking forward to that very much. As soon as I saw that was one of the games, I thought that I'm like, ooh, that sounds rad, and it looks rad. Um, Also, I got to watch people like learn how to do it, so now I have like an idea of how that actual game works. But yeah, the focus is to finish all of those models and then probably play some other stuff in the mini games for last call, which I'm looking forward to. Because yeah, it's a good idea. Um, Down with OPP, pal Pat. Yes, indeed. I'd love to see you on some Giant Bomb or even the mini spin-off groups content. Yeah, I mean, like, thank you. I've always enjoyed when people have me on and I can do stuff, like, look, Jeff Gerstmann has a shit ton of stuff to do, and he is a one-person operation right now. It is a one-man show for Jeff. Jeff knows that if a podcast or a video about wrestling appears, he knows I'm interested in being a guest. Will I be a guest on it? I don't know. But like he understands, in my like, hey dude, let me know what you need. I'll be a mod because I'm gonna be around. Like, and I know you'll probably like his first stream had our peak was 12,000 viewers. It's not that every stream, but like I knew he would need help with that, and I have experience as a mod, so I was like, I'll come in and mod, and like whatever. Like I'm mod on the Discord. It is what it is. Like he knows he's got me in his corner, and if he wants me to be a guest on a podcast, or anything, I'm down. Especially things that are in my wheelhouse, like model kits, anime, and wrestling. We'll see. The door is always open for other people. I occasionally pitch things to people. I had pitched it when Jan was doing like tier list and ranking stuff of like anime. I pitched him an idea that we were going to do, and then we just never did it. But every once in a while, I'm like, hey, we could do that idea at some point, and who knows if we ever will. But I have pitched here and there. I've reached out to people about some things on occasion. People know how to get at me. And sometimes they do. I haven't built any models in decades. I would love if they built that mode out in a platform and just kept putting up models. Yes, Silver Streak. So they've talked about maybe doing DLC for this game because so the whole thing about this game is that like the timing. This was supposed to be Zachtronics' last game, or the very least the last game where it was under the name Zachtronics, because Zach is pursuing education. The thing is, the timing didn't work out right, and he's been working as a teacher for a year, and he might hate it. It seems like he might hate being a teacher. So Zachtronics, the company, may be dead, but him as a game developer might not be. And then other people that were working with him, because it wasn't like a one person, it was the focus, but like he was working with other people. They're like working like other projects or like bigger teams or whatever, or their own stuff. So it seems like he might not be done. It's just that maybe this was the last like pure Zachtronics game. So my hope is that that there will be DLC for this, or an expansion or something, and then we'll get more of some of the puzzles and games. Yeah, I mean that's also like good to know. You want to know that. You want to get into it and know. And maybe it's just like that school, or maybe it's like what he's teaching, like who knows? Like some people it is a dream, and other people it is not a dream, and is not something they're interested in doing. I always think about how one of my favorite people in the world as a comedian was one of the worst improv coaches I've ever had in my life. Teaching just did not suit her. And it'd be like very strange, because I was just like, oh yeah, no. Oh no, I don't want to work with that person in this thing, but they're very funny, and I would like to be in a show with them, but not pay them to take care of that. Yeah, I think like, and it's interesting. Like you want to find that out, right? You want to find out like, oh, this isn't actually what I wanted, and it's good to know that stuff and get through that. But who knows? I would love to see more Last Call, because Last Call is a cool vibe and interesting thing, and I'm excited on Wednesday to play it and to assemble some models and paint some models. That's just going to be fun. All right. We have panel lined our legs. We are moving on with our legs, and it's time, friends. It's time for a segment many of you know. Hey, what's up? It's time for Manga Monday. You're just in time, Ian, for Manga Monday. We're going to talk about some manga. Yeah, you just sent me that link being like, oh no, about some Target stuff. Yeah, I mean, good luck. They do have model kits at Target, and Target often has sales, which is great. They also could be getting, like, apparently the timed exclusive stuff that they were doing apparently did pretty well for them, but I don't know if they're, like, psyched about it. If they're like, this is what we're doing all the time now. I don't know. But, all right, let's work on the right leg here. But, like, it is cool that they're doing stuff there. It is nice to be able to walk into a store and buy model kits, especially in this year. All right, so we need D42 cut out cleanly and D39. No problem. Okay. So yeah, we're working on the right leg now. We're doing all the stuff that like you can't do on both legs at the same time. I love that 2022 Target and Barnes & Nobles have anime model sections just because. I mean, they're just, everybody's just expanding and doing what they can. It's like the brief window when GameStop was doing model kits and stuff, and then they were like, actually, we're not doing this, and then everything went on sale. And I got some pretty good kits at a good rate. Okay, so this has got to go this. Yeah, and then down on an angle. Okay. All right. Yeah, it wasn't that long that they were doing it. Okay, so it's Manga Monday, which means I'm going to talk about two manga series. Look, is one a manhwa, South Korean? Yes. So it's not full it's Manga Monday because Manga Monday sounds better than Webtoon Monday. So, but first things first. Neither of these are an isekai. One is a reincarnation story. It is a time travel story, which is typical. There's so much typical about I obtained a mythic item. But Milady just wants to relax is not I woke up in an Otoma game and I'm a villainess. I thought all manga stories were isekai. I mean, if you listen to me, a lot of them are. But no, not all of them are. Just a lot of them. Anyway, Milady just wants to relax. It takes inspiration from the genre of the actually, what if the villainess wasn't a villain? What if she was just like right the whole time and this upstart girl who isn't like, oh yeah, well, if you have been told your whole life that you have to marry somebody and then some random girl shows up and starts hanging out with your fiance, you might be a little fucking pissed off about that shit. But just because she's the main character, you're wrong? Like, that doesn't make sense. That premise has been explored in lots of stories, and this is no exception that this is also playing off that idea. So this goes like this, and this is going to go like that. Okay. So I know how these connected. I got to put stickers on these things, which I will do in a moment. So let me get... Oh, and... 119. Okay. We got to put stickers on this before we connect them. So this follows the premise. The prince is like, I don't want to marry you. You did terrible things to her. Blah, blah, blah. And she's just like, okay, bye. And leaves. Knew it was coming at some point. Had preparations in mind if shit went bad. Because she saw the writing on the wall that like, things are like, my fiance is definitely in love with this girl. Things are going to get weird. And so she takes off and goes to a border town because she has one thing in mind that she wants to do. And that's open up a coffee shop. Because she loves reading, but has always had to read the stuff that she had to read and never got to read like fun books and stuff that she enjoyed. And she loves making coffee. So this is a little bit in a way. But the idea is that she's just like, yeah, I'm going to go and open up a cafe in this town. I've got enough money to run it. My coffee's good. The food's good. Also, I'm alone. Don't worry about it because I have made deals with fairies and these other little spirits that show up and help me out, because they're like, they bring me sweets and I make them desserts or like fruits and whatever, and then like help me clean up. She's just got like a lot of helpers that are very happy to help to facilitate, because we find out later she is beloved by all spirits and has incredible magical abilities that she wasn't keeping secret, but she wasn't like showing off. But yeah, she has incredible magic powers, and she made a contract with like the king of the forest and also another mythical beast, both of whom are incredibly handsome, because of course they are. And one guy who hates humans, and she's just like, okay, well, I made you cookies. And he's just like, you can't bribe me with food. And she's like, all right, well, I'll keep coming back and make you things until I make you something that you do like. Turns out he likes all of it because he's a little tsundere. Well, he doesn't want to, like, let her know. Actually, yeah. So eventually she does show up, and he's just like, hey, all right, I guess let's form a contract. You seem like an okay human. So she's got a bunch of friends, all that. Also, even though there is like sadness and there's some fighting and there's it is a drama, because it does have, oh, this is probably cozy vibes, but it's not cozy, because her most regular customers, the people that show up the most, are the mercenaries that protect this border town, that are all beast men. They either are fully animal, fully human, or in between. And they all have fluffy tails, and they all have animal instincts. One of them raised the other three, and they're like a goddamn found family, and their story is great, and they're lovely. Let's see, this is number 11. 11 goes here. Okay. No one's going to fucking see these stickers, but I'm still going to try to get them on, because I'm not a perfectionist, but I do like a good looking sticker. All right, let's try to get the sticker on. Anyway, yeah. So it's slow and a good drama, and it's this thing of like, they're like, what's up with this girl? They don't know her circumstances. She doesn't like let on like who she is and what's going on with her. They just start piecing it together like, oh, this girl has like incredibly magical powers and like is very well learned, and also all of like 2 of the 3 younger guys are like trying to set her up with the leader of the mercenaries, because she's like the first human that like gets along with them, because everyone's scared of the beastmen and were raised to be terrified. And she's just like, I don't know, some of y'all are pushy and gross, and they're all really nice, so I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure no one's going to see these fucking stickers. Is exactly what I thought when I worked on the first model in last call, and then I spent 30 minutes getting them right. Yes, indeed. You'll see them. I mean, the little stickers that go on like the back of the head, like hey, there's a sticker here. There's a sticker right there. You can see it. But like, no one's ever going to see that sticker unless I do that. Unless I show you that there's a sticker on the back of this head. I still do them. Ugh. But yeah, we'll put some stickers on here. It does look nice that there's a sticker there. I can zoom in a little bit here. So there is I did apply a sticker right here, that gray there, and then there is a sticker right here. And it will be very hard to see them when the kit is built, but it does come with those stickers. And the worst part is, these two I have to do on the other piece, and then I have to do it on the other leg, which is just too many. Yeah. I'm not going to zoom in all the time that deep. That's deep. That's some deep zoom that we don't need for this. But yes, those are very small stickers that I don't know if anyone's ever going to see, but they come in the kit, and I'm going to do it, and we'll just deal with it. So let's see, is there anything else about Milady just wants to relax? Mythical creatures, lover. Yes, there's a lot of heartache and fighting. And also, she just despises her family because they just like weren't good people to her. And it's a fucking bummer. And then of course she's gone and people were like, where is she? Like fucking assholes are like, where did she go? And it's like, get bent, assholes. Fuck off. Hope you get beat up by beast men that you are, of course, very racist towards, because everyone is. They're just like, they'll tear you in half. And it's like, have you ever seen anyone do that? Oh, you mean the people that came from a village that got massacred are angry sometimes? Weird. And some of them are orphans and no one helped them out? So weird. It's those things where you're just like, I know this is an allegory, but also it's still infuriating. Oh, nice. Some people saying hi. And then let's talk about, I obtained a mythic item, which is, oh, holy shit. This thing is just like, it's such a goddamn manhwa. It is unbelievably. So let me know if you've heard this before. Dimensional portals opened up and monsters came out. And it's a fucking bad time for humanity. But, thankfully, some people awakened. And they became awakeners and hunters. And they went in and fought the monsters and leveled up and powered up. And sometimes they had to, like, learn skills and do some shit and whatever. And they got, like, stronger. And then some of them were assholes and take advantage of their powers. And it's a whole fucking thing. And our main character, he doesn't suck, but he fucked up. He realizes later, he was so obsessed with being a warrior because that's how you make money. And he had, his mother got sick. So he's like, I'm going to be a warrior. He should have pursued being a mage because his magic ability is top tier. And he has all of this like unbelievable powerful magic that he could have used to help his mom and like better his own life. But he didn't do that. He fucked up. I need 8. He really fucked up with that. So, and then of course he gets betrayed. A guy he knew that he thought sucked, killed him. And also we find out that guy killed his mother. And then we also find out that he did both those things because he accepted payment from our main character's dad. That guy did get killed as our main character died, though. And also, right before he got killed, like an hour before he got killed, our main character discovered a mythical item, like the title suggests. One of a kind, never before seen, higher ranked than anything ever. The Aesir system, which is the system that all Awakeners use, was glitching out when he found this mythical item, which is Odin's Eye. And it does a bunch of cool bullshit that isn't possible and cheaty. Like it allows you to break weapon or break magic that is being used against you and just like dissolve magic. It also lets you create blank cards after you achieve certain things, and you can copy abilities you've seen onto that card. And then our dude, as he's dying, another power activates because apparently some of the gods are against the Aesir system, which we have not gotten into yet. This is still pretty early in the manhwa. It's only like 10 chapters in, which for a manhwa is nothing because they're weekly. But it's heavily suggested that the Aesir system is not the savior of humanity, that perhaps all these monsters are here so that humanity would use the Aesir system. This is my hypothesis based on no real evidence other than the fact that the gods were like, hey, we're going to transport you back in time 10 years so that you could do the right thing. So then we're just seeing our main character do the cool shit that he needs to do. Protect his mother and his best friend. go to the right schools. He heals this incredibly powerful healer, partially because, the one thing I forgot to say about the cards that let him copy people's abilities, some incredibly good abilities have downsides. They have, like, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, penalties. Penalties is the term they use. When he copies a skill, he does not have the penalties. So this head of a guild who was kind of like, encouraging people to become hunters and help protect humanity and all that, her healing ability stole her own life force. So she could heal other people, but no one could heal her. Except for our guy who copied her powers with none of the downside. And because did he do it for the right reasons? Well, he knows eventually he's got to heal his mom because his mom's going to get sick. And then he also knows that this person runs a very successful guild, and now he has the backing of that guild. Yes, he found developer mode, pretty much. Now, obviously, he's got to fix some shit that's going to come up. There's some bad shit lurking. Also, things might not go according to plan because now he's powerful and preventing some things and dealing with other things. He might also eventually end up running into some people that he fucking hates, but they haven't done anything wrong to him yet, but they did in the past, and how is he going to deal with that? He did almost die at one point, and then another god had to intervene because he was like, hey, we need you to do this thing. Don't die yet. And he's like, okay, I gotta get way stronger. It's been a good manhwa. Like I said, it is a lot of the same, like, hunters, guilds, using the kind of like RPG system things. Something's there, you're being lied to, something's wrong. Regression, which is the term they use for this kind of thing where you go back in time, the time travel thing where you're in your same body, but you have the memories from the future. This kind of like level of regression. All these things are like, this is just a thing that we're dealing with here. They're fairly standard, but it's still an enjoyable read. I'm still liking what I'm checking out there. It's just like, it is many ways like pretty basic. Like, if you have any interest in these things, in 2023, which is a ways away, I know, but also, unfortunately, not that far away because time keeps going. We're getting, oh God, what manhwa got announced? We're getting like the manhwa to read if you want to read the stories there. Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is coming out next year. There's going to be an anime adaptation of Solo Leveling, which is like, it's not the best manhwa of this ilk, of this style, but it is like the biggest of them, like one of the most successful. It also had a conclusion. There's going to be side stories, so more's coming back for it. But it also had an end, and is a full tale, and has the possibility of being very popular and will be people's gateway. And if you want to read one of those, I think that one's like the one to read because it also doesn't have the other popular thing in this genre, which is like dealing with like a lot of ancient Chinese like folklore that has been adopted into Korean culture, pop culture. Because that's a whole other thing you have to deal with. In the same way that sometimes it's great to like have a fantasy series that doesn't have like Romance of the Three Kingdoms implications, because then you need to really know a lot about Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which like, I mean, more power to you if you do, but I don't know enough about it. I barely know enough about Journey to the West to understand when that comes up in things. Like, I barely am like, oh, okay, I know what's going on with this. I can follow along with what this is because of years of just, having to know that stuff. I have enough understanding. ROTTK is great, but man, there's a lot. Yeah, and then there's there are some that I've had 3 or 4 times trying to get into because they're thousands of chapters. Because here's the thing with manhwa. A really popular manhwa can do a thing where the first 8 pages are a recap of where it left off in the last one, because it's all color and it's all like it flows really well down the page, because they're like they're single panel that like you scroll through digitally anyway, because they're webtoons. But it is that thing where you're looking at this and you're just going, okay, yeah, I know, yeah, I just read that. It's even if I'm not reading these in bulk, it's only been a week, manhwa. You don't have to tell me more of this shit. I do appreciate that there's a lot of manhwa that are just like, what about someone that goes... There's a manhwa called Real Man that is about a guy that regresses so that he can get his revenge on people that didn't let him and his team make a great smartphone. That's the premise of that manhwa. I don't think it's good, but I think the premise rules. That it's just like, yeah, he regressed, and now he's out playing everybody and gonna make this smartphone the right way. And it's just like, all right, that's very funny to me. That is your great cool story. It's nice to have an anime based on a manga that has an ending. Will it ever end? I mean, that manga is like only like 47. Yeah, I mean, like, One Piece is gonna wrap up at some point. Look, at the very least, we're close to starting the last arc. Now, how long will the last arc take? I don't know. But, like, we're close to starting it, which is finally, like, something we can say. But yeah, there's another one that is, like, the manager of an idol, a group, like, regresses and now can, like, do that the way it should have been done with his knowledge of what happens in the future. And it's just like, I mean, okay, that's how we're going to play it. But, like, sure. It's very silly to me that that's the thing that you want to get right and, you know, fix your mistakes in what you did with this idol group. It's like, sure. Cool. But yeah, I do have like a fondness for those kind of like, we're not doing like these different systems. We're not doing a regression. We're not doing I was trapped in Isekai and now I'm back in the real world. That that manga about the guy who came back, he was in Isekai and he came back and he's been hiding his powers, but then gets wrapped up in a death game. Guess what? The first arc ended with him keeping everyone alive that needed to be alive and ending this death game. He and a few other people just got kidnapped and put in a new death game. Don't worry. And this one looks like it's more of like a Saw death game instead of the other one, which was more Battle Royale. And I just love the idea that this dude is now in his second death game. That he is back and he is stuck in another one. Is very funny to me. That is just such a silly, great premise of just like, oh, the guy when he goes to shoot someone and his gun doesn't work because the dude's just like, yeah, no, I have magic. And they're like, no one can. These people will like gas a bus and kidnap all these kids to make them participate in a death game. But the idea that someone knows magic, they're just like, nope, I refuse to believe that. It's just like, okay, sure. Those are different things, but that is very funny. It's just like, that's where you're like, no, I refuse to believe that magic is real. You are clearly doing magic directly in front of me, but I choose to not believe it. All right, so we have to put some stickers on this. And I have to figure out where those stickers go. So it needs to be this lined up here. It's like this. They're like stickers that go on these parts here. And then there's a sticker that goes on D21. I can at least put this sticker on. And then I'll figure out the other ones from here. Anyway, I mean, I read a lot of goddamn bullshit. let's see. I'm gonna hit up the old manga list and tell you the stuff that is not enough chapters have come out that I can talk about it on Manga Monday, but I got a few. Dungeon's childhood friend I can talk about next week because I've read enough of that. That premise is a kid and his best friend, they grew up together, and then turns out she's part demon, or she's full demon, and her dad retires, so she becomes the demon queen of a dungeon. So in order to see her all the time, he has to always get to a portion of the dungeon, so he becomes an incredible adventurer so that he can go and visit his friend and their childhood friends. And there's a group of monsters that like to watch them because they keep waiting for it to get romantic, but it hasn't yet. And it's just cute. That's very fun. Dungeon's childhood friend is very fun. Let's see. Any other ones that I want to... Tea Life of an Abandoned White Witch is new, and that one I've liked the premise of. I'm looking forward to more of that. Basically, the party that this white witch healer, they call her a witch, she's a healer. But the healer gets abandoned by the people in her party because they can't defeat this dragon, and they leave her behind. And this dragon's like, hey, you're really hurt. Huh? All right, I'll take you to the demon realm so that you can heal up. I was just sleeping, and I didn't know I was causing a fuss. My apologies. I don't really know a lot about humans, but you seem neat. So he brings her back to the human world, and time has passed because he's a dragon. So, like, he didn't even think about how time was going to pass, but she's frozen in age. And he's just like, yeah, hey, I want to learn more about the human world, so I'm going to pretend to be your son. That's cool, right? I do not know why this ancient dragon chooses to be a child to experience the world, but he does, and it's a weird choice, but okay. And then a guy that she helped raise in an orphanage shows up, and of course he's now 10 years older, and he's just like, I always believed you were alive. I want to live here with you and help you raise this kid. Which is also a dragon, because I love you, and she's just like, oh, okay, unprepared for that, and so mostly it's going to be cozy, but then they're also going to be assholes and bastards, because the people that left her for dead took credit for they basically said, we defeated that dragon, because the dragon left, right, and she sacrificed her life for us, and she's just like, yeah, I don't want revenge, but I don't want to see them. So we'll see what happens. But that premise is fun. She basically just like becomes the healer in a town, which is cute, and makes tea and people hang out. It is a pretty fun little thing. It's new, so it'll be a while before we get more of it. But I like the premise a lot. All right, so this is gonna go here, and this goes into this. The ankle clips into the front, which could fall apart all the time, I bet. But hopefully will be cool. That looks dope. And then there are two stickers, and I don't know where they go. I think they actually go on the back here, maybe? Yes, they go on this part here. All right. So there are stickers on the back. We'll put them on. No one's ever going to see these stickers, but it's nice to, to do the work for it. So these go here, and they're 6 and 7. Okay, 6 is this one here. Yep. Pop this open. Great. And then plant that right there. Yeah, these are not necessary, but they do look pretty neat, so I will do them. In a couple minutes, we'll do a pause for the cause. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel and all that. Then we will we'll talk about some anime, because I've got one new series, one episode 2 of a series, and one episode 12 of a series. We'll close the door on that. All right, yeah. So we have now all but completed this leg. I need a part B. And then some polycaps with B. But yeah, oops. Oh no. Where'd it go? Yeah. Oof. Deal with that later. Maybe. Let's see. No, I won't need that. Okay. Well, I will eventually. Sorry. Getting settled. Let's finish this, and then we'll take a pause to the cause. And we'll talk about some anime, and then we'll talk about some video games and do all that. But yeah, got some anime stuff. I will say before we get into it, talking about all this anime. So my Isekai life, I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world. Last week, episode 1 and 2 came out, and then this week, episode 3 came out. I was wondering if they were going to take a week off, but no, they just aired back-to-back episode 1 and 2, and then this week aired episode 3. I'm only going to talk about episode 2. Next week, I'll talk about episode 3 and 4, because I didn't know for sure if they were just going to skip an episode or what, or skip a week or what. So I eventually have to get caught up on that series, and I will. And I'm also looking for something else to watch on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because right now I only have Call of the Night and the Yakuza Guide to Babysitting, and they both come out on Thursday. So I would like to add something. I mean, I'm watching Overlord Season 3. I am watching that, or Season 4, I should say. But I'm not going to talk about that weekly because it's the 4th season of a show, and it's just weird to talk about the 4th season of a thing. Also, I'm not necessarily going to watch it every episode every week. Might marathon through some. Animation's looking pretty good, but like we're at the point now where it's just like kind of goofy, and then it'll get deadly serious. But a character who was introduced in Season 1 might actually finally fucking do something in Season 4. So I'm looking forward to that, because they introduced this like future big bad, and then you don't see her do any shit. So I think we're going to get her this season, which is good. All right. That's done. That's done. We just got to do this ankle or, connector here. 2, 6, which is this one. Bada boom. And then this goes like this. But yeah, I'm looking for... There are a couple shows. So that show, and also I am going to watch on my own schedule, because it's starting, I believe, this week. I'll be watching Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2, just kind of like on my own. Because I never really loved that show, but I like it. So I'm not like gung-ho about it. It's a completely different studio working on it, so I'm not like... I don't have the biggest hopes for it. My expectations are, I think, reasonable. All right, so how does this connect? Because, yeah, you never know. I mean, it could be incredible. It could be my favorite shows this season. I don't think it will be, but it could be. What is my favorite show so far? I mean, some shows have only had one episode. I mean, I really like Teppen Laughing Till You Cry, but they didn't have a second episode. The first episode was cool. I think my favorite Isekai so far is... We've only had 1 week of Parallel World Pharmacy, but it's interesting. We'll talk about that in a bit. I don't know, sir. Yeah, that might be my favorite show. Phantom of the Idol is a coolest premise. That's the coolest premise of any show this season. Just the idea of a guy who doesn't want to be an idol anymore, willingly and encourages the possession of his body by a girl that died and loves being an idol, so that she can keep being an idol, so that he can be lazy and doesn't have to worry about doing idol shit, is such a weird premise. And the fact that he's the one that encourages it is, I don't know, it's odd. It's just weird enough for me to be into a subgenre I don't always appreciate, which is the idol show. Tony's here. Hey, Tony. Saying, I am revisiting Prince of Tennis. It was my first exposure to sports anime, and I stopped as a kid because I didn't understand why no one is charging up or shooting energy blasts. Yeah, there's a different kind of... Yeah, sports anime doesn't really have power-ups like that. It has slowdown effects so that you can hear the thought process of someone. You get that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm just not... I mean, Prince of Tennis has like some stuff that I like, but I'm just not really a sports anime person. I don't know. Haikyuu is like the big exception to that because I went back. Well, friends of mine were like, "Hey, watch this scene. Watch this asshole be a good person." And I'm like, "Okay, oh okay. Hey, watch this real dumb guy like step up and be awesome." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." Hey, this short guy's really good at volleyball. I'm like, sometimes it's really goofy. The star the star freshman who's really good is also a complete goofball. I'm like, okay, all right. There's more than one short guy on the team, and one of them makes up silly names for his moves, like Rolling Thunder. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah, okay. There's a real cool girl. I was like, all right. There's one girl who is not cool and is kind of the Greek chorus because she is just saying what everyone is thinking. I'm like, all right. Haikyuu is real good. Especially after checking out ones like Ippo and Slam Dunk. Hell yeah. Lord Crashton started watching Shaman King on Netflix, which is pretty good so far. I love that they didn't redesign the dude who's on a fucking snowboard. That guy is still on a goddamn snowboard because that manga came out in like 1999. So they kept the snowboard, and that's awesome in this remake. iShield 21. iShield 21 didn't necessarily have superpowers, but it had like people who were way too strong to be high school kids. You know what I mean? It had like, it was just like, oh, that's not possible. It had like impossible moments more than it had like superpowers. Snowboard dude is on. I mean, Snowboard dude is just like, hey, my spirit is a tiny little friend that I made because I need to become Shaman King to protect these little friends. And it's just like, cool. You are single-mindedly focused and you also have a snowboard. Just silly. It's just silly. It was one of the things. When they were leading up to it coming back, I was like, is the guy still going to have a snowboard or not? And the answer was yes. And I was like, perfect. All right. If you are new to the stream, now is the portion of the show where I talk about ways that you can support what I do here. All of the things I'm going to talk about here are optional. You don't have to do any of these things, but if you would like to contribute, you're more than welcome to. And it'll only take a couple minutes, and then we'll get back to model kit building. If you are currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat, like John just did. You can also throw the blue emote if you are a Arista fan. You are a tier 2 subscriber. Hey, if you want to upgrade and become a tier 2 subscriber, you get a cool emote. You get an exclusive emote that only me and Arista fan have because it's my stream and he's a tier 2. I was wondering if Rio was still going to have the accent, but they gave him a dramatic one. Yes. Yeah, subscribing is the easiest way to support what I do here. Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. We had one person subscribe with Cash Money, resubscribe, and we had one person resubscribe with their Prime Gaming token, which is fantastic. Thank you to Silver Streak and Sharks2K, once again, for your continued support. If you want to gift somebody in the community, you see Aristofan's the only person that gifted something this month. You can join the gift sub leaderboard with just one gifted sub. We were trying to get to 40 subscribers. You could help help us get it there. You could do it anonymously, or you can do it and we get credit. You can do it for a particular person that you think about. You're like, I want to really make sure that so-and-so is a subscriber. Or you could just do it to a random-ass person that you don't even know. And it'll just be a roll of the dice. Like I said, there are various ways to support what I do here vis-a-vis becoming a subscriber. Also, bits and coins are always appreciated. Again, trying to get to that 40, the big 40, if you want to jump on board. Won't say anything about that till the end of the stream. Or probably till the next stream. And if you're like, Pat, never gonna let Twitch know anything about me. Great. Well, what about Patreon? There's a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier there. Different tiers give you different results. Consider becoming a patron. We're going to get back to building soon, but I guess I got to go through this stuff. Now, YouTube, of course, subscribing to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBear is free, but I got memberships over there. And if you want to get my Wednesday videos on a Tuesday, $2 a month, you get those a day early. Well, it's simple and easy. And every $100, I get a PayPal thing from Amazon. I got to reach $100 every time, and I use that $100 for model kit building. I'll talk more about that in a second. Also, direct donations through Coffee or PayPal or Stream Elements. You can make a direct donation there if monthly doesn't work for you, but a one-time you want to just give me a tip. It's a tip jar. Everything I make through donations, direct donations, YouTube, AdSense, Patreon, and Twitch goes to me buying model kits. This is a premium model kit that I'm building right now, the Aesculapius. I could not get this without your help, so thank you very much for your continued support financially for that kind of stuff. Now, I'm about to, once we're done tonight, I'm going to put up a poll for my $10 patrons to decide, hey, what do I build next? Because when we're done with the legs, we got to do the waist and we got to do the backpack/head. I think we're going to finish this kit up on Saturday, or we'll get very close. What do I build next? Well, I'm going to put up a poll for my $10 patrons, but I won't build that if someone buys something off my wish list and it gets here and that becomes the next thing that I build. That is the least I can do, is if you buy me something from my Amazon wish list or Throne, or you buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store and sell me the gift card code, the least thing I can do is build the thing that you bought next. And I have an Amazon wish list. I just put that in the chat. I have Lego sets, inexpensive Lego sets. I have, that got pricey again. Some Pokemon kits in there. Again, more Lego, inexpensive model kits, expensive model kits that never seem to be on sale. Model kits that are, why is this a $50 model kit? It's a high grade. Why is a double O kit $50? Even if it has a ton of funnels that attach to it. I don't know, but it is. So I got a bunch of stuff on there. You buy something from that list, including some gear. You buy that, it comes to me in the mail. I will make a dedicated video on my YouTube channel, a mailbag video about the thing that you purchased, and then it jumps the queue, and it becomes the next thing I build. Again, as I said, I have a Throne wish list. These are an alternative to Amazon, because it's nice to have alternatives. Smaller little list there. And then USA Gundam Store. You buy a gift card there, send me a DM on Twitter or whisper here on Twitch with your gift card code, and I will use it at USA Gundam Store and buy something. We're going to get back to building in just a moment, but I want to tell you about my Discord. Join my Discord over there. Follow the link. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's a nice little Discord. Good people. It's very chill. Let's see. Is there something else? Oh, yeah. Some links. Pat Bear's Anime Club. This was me talking about, this video is me talking about the stuff that I watched last season and the stuff, me previewing the stuff that's come out this season. So you watch that clip. And then also, Do You Remembaer? Here is a link to Do You Remembaer, my ongoing video series, where every week I read a Wikipedia article and do my best to remember everything I read on there and talk to you about it in an entertaining manner that you hopefully will enjoy. I talked about the Super Mario Brothers anime, which is Super Mario Brothers: The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach, which was a Japan only. It was the first video game movie, and it's an isekai. It's a video game themed isekai, and that rules. And it came out years before the live action. And in 2022, this year in April, it was released on archive.org and YouTube, a painstaking 8K restoration of a 16 millimeter film version of it, because it's just been like digitized to hell of like VHS copies that were fan subbed with a new translation and audio restoration and all kinds of nonsense by a bunch of people came together out of love and nonsense to put that out. So I talk about that, and also in that YouTube video, the show description is a link to watching the full thing. That was a good time. This Wednesday's Do You Remembaer? I think people will like it. It's kind of out of left field, but I'm happy with it. That'll be up on Wednesday. But tomorrow, for $5 and $10 patrons and $2 YouTube members, we'll get that tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to drink a little water, and then we're going to talk about some anime, because I have anime to chat with you about. But we can't do that until I drink, that water. Got to get that water going. So it's time to dramatically transition back to the overhead shot. Here we go. Dramatic. It was drama. I was serving you drama. I hope you appreciated that. Hey, anime. We're going to start talking about a new series called Parallel World Pharmacy. Is it an isekai? Yes. In this particular story, we start at the beginning. We're going to learn about this fucking dude and his goddamn issues. It starts with the very first frame of the first episode is 20XX T University, Japan. Did they say T University instead of Tokyo University? Yes, this is fucking definitely Tokyo University. They just don't say Tokyo. That is great. I love that. I'm going to actually widen this a little. Just a little. We're going to widen out just a little bit. We're a little too close for my liking. Yes, this is Tokyo University. And our main character is a young associate professor named Kanji Yukitani. We don't need to remember Kanji's name anymore, because very soon he will use a different name that I will just refer to him as for the rest of the series, probably. Anyway, our dude, through flashback, we learn his kid sister died of an illness, a tumor, and no one could prevent it. No one could do anything. And he was always just like, that's bullshit. So he ended up becoming a researcher, and he's been working on a cure for things, but he is like the best in the biz, but he's burning the candle at both ends, and he's definitely in a world of hurt. And then he falls asleep, and you could probably guess, does not wake up. In his normal body, he does wake up again. Hey, Harold, welcome. We're talking about Parallel World Pharmacy, which is a new isekai that I've been checking out. He does get into a new body. He is a young man named Pharma, F-A-R-M-A, and apparently Pharma got struck by lightning. So, we can confer pretty easily and pretty immediately that this dude died in Tokyo, and then traversed into the body of a kid who died because he was struck by lightning. And he is now very confused. And then the opening song plays, and it's bright and poppy, which I was not expecting. Like, this is a show that, like, I know is a little dark. I've read some of the manga. I haven't read all of the manga, but I know it's a little dark in places, but it's mostly also, like, it's not a slice of life, but it's not like it's not a battle junkie like Black Summoner. So it's not a battle junkie anime, but it is like, it's not super light, but the opening song is very light and poppy, and kind of it's just like, oh, this kid's dead and he got reincarnated. Music's time. And you're like, okay. So anyway, Pharma, who I'm just going to call him Pharma from this point on, he's very confused. He has a maid named Charlotte, and he's just like, yeah, I'm confused right now because of what happened to me. Can I ask you some questions that maybe you will know the answers to? And she's just like, yeah, sure. What do you need to know? So she answers some questions. This is a world where he has been born, the son of a well-regarded pharmacist. He has an older brother and a younger sister. And they're all doctors, but also sometimes there's also magic in this world. There's divine arts, which is like healing magic and stuff. And our dude should know how to use them. And he like kind of figures it out. And then he realizes, oh, maybe the magic I'm doing isn't normal because I can heal things, but also apparently I'm an alchemist. Like one hand can make things, create things, and the other hand can break them down to their components. Now, possibly he is good at that because his knowledge of science, and he knows the chemical compounds, and maybe other magic users could do that. That's a little confusing because also I'm going to jump ahead. When he got struck by lightning, and probably also because he's a reincarnation, our dude has powers that he did not have before. He has abilities that he should not have. He can use all kinds of magics that theoretically he shouldn't be able to use because our dude is wicked, strong, and powerful in regard to magic. Also, apparently, he has something called the God of Medicine's Divine Eye, where if he focuses, he can see ailments that people have. And then if they're cured or identified, they change color, which will just make it easier for him to be a doctor because he will eventually be able to heal people. That's the premise of the show. Is what if someone got overpowered, like an overpowered main character shows up who also is an excellent doctor and was a researcher and has all of the knowledge of like modern, 20XX Japan. Again, I don't know what exactly 20XX means, but I do think it's very funny that is what's said here. Do I want to do these back stickers? God, I don't. I'm going to. God, you don't see them. All right, I'm doing these goddamn stickers. I don't want to do these goddamn stickers, but I am. I'm going to do them with it attached. We'll see how that goes. So this one is going to be 8 and 10. All right, we'll do 8 and 10. This one here is 8 and 10. All right, great. Anyway, one of the most interesting things in any isekai with an overpowered main character who is like a reincarnation or takes over someone's body possession, anything like that, something happens here which should happen way more often. I understand why it doesn't because it kind of grinds everything to a halt, but it really should. He uses his amazing abilities, and his teacher, his private tutor, is like, what the fuck is happening? What are you talking about? How do you have these abilities? What's going on? She is freaked the fuck out, and she like runs away from him because he is a monster. He has all of these abilities he shouldn't have. And she like at first kind of was like, oh, that's weird. I've never seen that before. Okay, well, let's just keep this a secret and not tell anyone what's going on. But then like he uses the divine eye and she's just like, oh, and like you'd think she'd be like, in this fantasy world, you would think that she would just be oh, you've been like blessed by the gods. Like you were struck by lightning so that you can unlock your potential to help people. But instead she's just like, which I think is reasonable. She's just like, holy fucking shit, this is a nightmare. What's happening right now? Am I losing my mind? And I think that is cool. And I've not seen that before. So I assume that he's going to have to figure that shit out. But yeah, it was realistic. So this series, again, I have read some of the manga. I have not read all of the manga. I think it's interesting, and I like that it is focusing on medicine. I think that is a fairly unique focus for an isekai. I don't know if I'm going to keep watching it, but I like the premise. Sounds like a whale for an MMO that bought a bunch of microtransactions they don't know how to use yet. Yes, he's like, because he has like some knowledge that's embedded in his body that he's taken over, but he doesn't have like he knows the, semi bullshit, like nonsense stuff that, he has a good understanding of those things, of the mysticism stuff. Like it's in his blood. He can like remember it, but like common sense stuff he doesn't have yet because he's still figuring it out. And then also, yes, he's just trying to figure out these incredible abilities. All right, so what did I do wrong here? The part that goes down. All right, this is supposed to be 11, which goes like this. It goes. Got it. Oops. Again, no one's going to see these goddamn stickers, but I do want to do it right. I'm going to know they're there. So that's new series. I'm somewhat interested in it. Episode 2 of my Isekai life, I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world. Again, episode 1 and 2 aired last week. I only watched episode 1, and this week I watched episode 2. I will next week talk about episodes 3 and 4, because they didn't take this week off like I thought they might. They did episode 3, but I didn't get to it because I had a lot going on. You may remember from me talking about this before. This show started in chapter 6 of the manga. We did not see how he isekai'd. We did not get introduced to how he met any of the other characters in the series, who Yuji was his previous life. There's a hint that he was like an overworked salaryman and hated office culture. We get that sense, and we get more of that in this episode. But that's about all we got. We don't know how he got summoned or anything, or how he is incredibly strong and a sage when he is a monster tamer, which we learned in the other episode people think is weak. Anyway, this episode has a flashback where they go into, so this is like chapters like 9 of the manga, but also chapters like 1 and 2 of the manga. So we at least learn how when he showed up and how he met the slimes. We get that far. That's unfortunately as far as we get with it. We don't know how he met Proud Wolf or how he met the Dryad that he's friends with. But I'm assuming that they're just going to fill in those blanks as they go, or maybe they never will. Maybe we'll never see those kind of like chapters like 3 through 6. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's weird. I don't like it. I think my preference is don't start with like the action and then maybe flashback to how we got here. Start with the isekai. Like, I know it's an origin story and people say they don't like origin stories, but like, I want to know what's going on in the show that I'm watching. I want to know why characters are interacting the way they do. I think the best way to know what's going on in it is to like start from the beginning. That's just my opinion. Again, I know that some people disagree, but I don't like starting right there. Obviously, my Isekai life is the title, so you know it's an Isekai, but like starting there is weird to me. I'd much rather start at the beginning. Anyway, in this episode, Yuji has, in the first episode, he saved a town, and people started to understand how powerful he is, so he took off. He comes to understand that the monsters that appeared were most likely summoned by a cult, the Blue Moon cult, or Blue Moon Salvation, something like that. And so he's like very wary of that, and he's going to do some investigating about them eventually. But now he's in a new town, and they're like, "You're a monster tamer? Yeah, I know you were a guild member in another town, but I don't know about here." And he's like, fine. But they're like, "Oh, wait, you can track. You're a tracker." Sure. We always need trackers on parties, and we have like a temporary party that's starting up. Maybe you can join that. And he's like, "All right, fine. Even though you're being very rude about my abilities and you don't understand that I'm actually pretty strong." But he also doesn't really want to stand out. So he's like, fine. So he gets put up at a temporary party. There's a guy who, hey, at no point did I think this guy was a good person. And I was like, they're not going to pull a fast one and have it be somebody else. This guy sucks. There's like a dude that definitely sucks. And then 2 girls that know each other that are like, fine enough and strong enough. And then they're like, "Yuji, you just have to track and tell us when there are monsters. We don't have to beat the Earth Dragon. We just have to go and find the location of this Earth Dragon that people are worried about and then report back to the guild." And he's like, "You got it. Let's go." So he's using his monsters to kind of help him understand what's going on and where there are things. And then at night, the guy in the party who is definitely shady and clearly sucks takes off. He disappears, and they're like, "Uh-oh!" And then we get a flashback because we don't immediately know why he disappeared and what's going on. We get a flashback to what happened. Yuji just wakes up. He doesn't really have like any response. He wakes up and he's got like a login screen and powers, and he's a summoner, and he's like, "Okay." And he just like reaches his hand out down and accidentally touches a slime, and immediately that slime is like, yes, I will become your partner. You can summon me. And he's like, all right, I guess we're friends now. And the slime like leads him to this old house where there are a lot of slimes and also a bunch of grimoires. There's just a bunch of grimoires hanging out, and he's just like, oh, okay. I'll make a contract with all these slimes. And they have like personalities now, and so they look different. Again, one of them has an eye patch. Love that slime. Slime with an eye patch, very good. One's got a mustache. Some of them have like definite personality traits to them. They're good slimes. They're all good friends. And this house that he found all these slimes in. There's also all of these grimoires, like I said, these magic books. And if the slimes read them, they absorb the magic, the ability to do these spells, which we've learned in the show. Monster tamers aren't supposed to be able to use magic, and slimes aren't supposed to be able to use magic. He can transfer magic through the slimes, so he doesn't do it himself. He does it like by transferring the ability of the magic, and then they're a conduit to do it, which he shouldn't be able to do. Also, he's a sage. He is now a sage. And again, Yuji's very low-key. And then we're back in the present where the dude ran off and the other, Rhodus, and the other girls followed him. Turns out Rhodus is part of a slave trading organization where they like kidnap people. They're going to kidnap the girls, and then they're going to give them over to the cult. They're not in that cult, but they do know about the cult and talk about some stuff that they're getting up into and how it's best not to mess with them and instead support them. Also, that evil dude was like, yeah, we'll just leave Yuji alone and he'll just die out there. We don't need him, but we'll just leave him. So they didn't even want to kidnap Yuji. They didn't even want to kidnap the main character. The girls are freaked out, but don't worry, because Yuji's there. Well, Yuji's not even there. His slimes are there because they were tracking them. And then Yuji's slimes use an ice spell that completely and totally freezes everyone all of the bad guys just get frozen inside a hut and then absorbed by a slime into storage, because apparently his slimes can also store things, which we did not talk about until the moment he just swallows a bunch of one of the slimes. Just swallows a bunch of things, and it's like, what just happened? Whoa, where did that go? What's going on? Yeah. So the slimes can absorb people or absorb things and put them in storage. Anyway, that's taken care of. And then Yuji's like, now I guess I can show you how cool my slimes are. So they now get to hang out in luxury, and they are going to continue the hunt to find that dragon. And my guess is Yuji's going to fight that dragon. That's just my guess. I hope we get a flashback to how he became friends with Proud Wolf, because I love Proud Wolf. Proud Wolf is the wolf. It's proud, but it's also pretty cowardly. And in the manga, looks like a Looney Tunes character. They didn't really carry that out over onto the anime. I still like this thing. I still think it's a fun series. I like Yuji. Gotta chase that dragon, indeed. I like Yuji and his like understated thing, because he just wants to kind of blend in, because he doesn't want to draw a lot of attention, because he feels like a lot of attention means a lot more work. So he's just like trying to fly under the radar, but he still helps people, and he still has incredible abilities, and I enjoy that. Also, there's a shot of a mysterious man that I don't think is in the cult. Well, let me be fair. I know isn't in the cult because I have read the manga. So I know he's not in the cult. So there's a man who is not in the cult, who at some point is going to become more important to the story. So yeah, I like it. I think it is a good little anime. All the animation is digital. There's not a single moment so far of CG animation. That could change, but usually it doesn't. Usually it's from the jump, and I like that. I'm enjoying that, and both in my Isekai life and Black Summoner so far, only digital anime. No nonsense there. Nonsense, but no nonsense of like the bullshit that I don't really want to deal with, which is throwing in that CGI, like a CGI monster in the same frame as like a digital character. It's just something that I just don't want to see anymore, and we don't. And now I will talk to you about Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. This was the last episode of the series, which is in some ways a shame because this was adorable. This was one of my favorite shows of the spring season. It was a beautiful season for romance anime and like dating anime. And in fact, I'm not watching any romance series this season. So I went from several to zero. This one in particular, I enjoyed because they were dating the whole damn time. It wasn't a will they, won't they. It was a they are. Let's watch them be cute together and find out how they started dating, and then have like a rival show up, but not in the typical fashion. A very great character and a great telling of that story. And yeah, and the minor characters that I liked, and lots of stuff and lots of silliness. Again, she's not just a cutie because Shikimori's a fucking badass, kicks it rules, and then also Izumi is a klutz and has bad luck. Didn't really have too much bad luck in this one. It was pretty good. This is them at an amusement park. It is like fairy tale themed amusement park. It is not like a fake Disney. And it's just, they saw a commercial and she just like really wanted to go there. And so they're going there because they haven't been able to have like a one-on-one, like just the two of them date in a while because they were busy with school stuff. I need to put on another piece before I do that. Sorry. D2 21. Great. So it's just the two of them. None of the minor characters involved. They're just going on a date, and they go on this date, and it's great. He fucking they ride some rides. He knows all the places he wants to go. He's got it all planned out. They go on this one ride, and he kind of like dozes off a little bit. And she almost kisses him. But doesn't, because they were on a Sleeping Beauty ride. And so she almost kisses the dude, which is very cute. And then let's see what else happens. Oh yeah. Well, his bad luck finally kicks in because they're going to go and the reservation he made somehow got canceled and they gave away his table, but they're going to make it up to him. So instead, they get to go to the fancy place instead of the not so fancy place where they all feel very awkward because they are at a fancy restaurant at this amusement park. But then the awkwardness works out fine and they talk and they're having a great time. They go on an automated gondola ride. So there's no person piloting it. It's just moving on a perceived path. And the lights go out. Power goes out in the whole place. So they're just illuminated by one of the phones. And then Izumi kisses Shikimori's cheek and tells him that he loves her and that he's never going anywhere and she doesn't have to worry about him. And it's awesome. And she was not expecting that. She was also planning to kiss him at some point. But he kissed her because that's what she wanted, was to kiss like they did in the commercial. He thought she wanted to like go on the rides like in the commercial or hold hands in the park like they do in the commercial and not the kissing part. And it's adorable. And the next day at school, they're both very embarrassed. He can't like say anything. And she tells her female friends about it. And they are enthused, but also like that they kissed. But also when they find out the kiss was he kissed her on the cheek, they're both like, I mean, all right, come on. They're like, what? Okay, how chaste. You know, they're just like, they're both, neither of them are like surprised really that they're so wholesome, but it works for them. And that's it. And after the closing song, they're meeting up and a soda can gets hit by a car or like a truck and flies out and is going to hit him in the head. But Shikimori does a spinning jump kick like she did in the first episode and kicks away the can, and then people applaud because it is cool as fucking hell. And that's it. And they just smile at each other. And that's a lovely little series. Shikimori is not just a cutie, it is awesome. It's on Crunchyroll. I recommend it. It is just a lovely little series with a wholesome, good times. And again, there is the drama. There is a little bit of drama in there, but it is pretty damn minor, and it is good. In its, I know the manga keeps going through their life and their relationship, and I have not read a page of the manga, and I am interested in reading that manga, so I might pick up that particular manga. I don't know. We have a little time left in the stream for y'all to tell me what you're playing, what you're watching, anything you're into. Just feel free to put that in the chat, and I will read that out loud and talk about it. I played Rumbleverse on Sunday. After watching a bunch, like the last time I didn't play it because I had things going on. Yesterday, I had to get up pretty early, and then I just logged into Rumbleverse and played Rumbleverse until it stopped working. And I'm very bad at Rumbleverse. I'm not a Battle Royale person. I'm barely a beat-em-up person, and you combine the two. Hey, I should be blocking more. I'm just going to say that. That is the thing I definitely know. I'm pretty okay with supers. I'm all right with surprise attacks. Once that circle starts getting smaller, I don't know the terrains well enough to know where to, like, hide and, like, eat something and get my wits about me. I'm just getting jumped all the time. Also, I'm okay at climbing. I'm bad at predicting where I'm going to bounce, but I'm okay at just the climbing part. I'm not particularly good at that game. I don't think I would stream myself playing because it would just be me swearing all the time, and that can be fun, but I just don't know if I would have fun doing it. But overall, they're making a fucking good video game there. I didn't play a lot of the network test. Yeah, block and dodge, I'm definitely bad at. I'm okay at dodging, but not great. I played a bunch. I did not play Exoprimal's test because I don't give a shit about, like, I like the idea of what if a rogue AI forced you to fight waves of dinosaurs. I think that premise is nonsense in a way that I can get behind. I just don't have any interest. So I didn't do that test yesterday. That was happening. All right, we're done with both legs. It's time to move on, and we'll get started. We're not going to get too far into the waist, but we can get started on the waist, so we'll do that. Let's see. Okay, you're watching 30 Rock playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions Encore. Ooh, nice. That is a fun combination of things. You might be the only person watching that show and playing that game at this very moment, or the moments you're playing it. Watch the whole season of Dead End Paranormal Park, which is great. Okay, I don't know anything about that, but cool. Enjoy. Harold finished the story of Bloom on Playdate. Also, I had a really good Fall Guys session yesterday, including my first 2 solo wins ever. Fuck yeah, Harold. Happy for you. That's awesome. I occasionally play Fall Guys. Not that often. Often what it is my Halo group is all but busted, but sometimes we do in the Discord that we are in, sometimes someone will bring up the idea of, hey, does anyone want to play Fall Guys? And I will jump in for a couple of Fall Guys games if my friends are like, hey, what if we all just tried to play Fall Guys? And I'm like, that sounds great. And we'll just like talk to each other and someone will project it. Or send it out to Discord, not project it. What if we get into some Fall Guys? Because I would like my Halo crew to play more Halo. Because it's the only shooter I play, but because it's nostalgia. But that feels like that has sailed. Maybe someday we'll come back to it, but I think ship sailed on that. Dead End is a Netflix show featuring a trans boy that gets to work at a spooky theme park. Lord Crashington, that sounds very cool. I currently do not have Netflix. I missed Comey Can't Communicate last month. I'm missing my Isekai Uncle this month. I occasionally get tempted to get back into Netflix. Maybe at the end of the season, of this anime season, I will get it for like a month. I don't know. Fall Guys on Xbox on Switch. There's going the only reason to keep my PS4 hooked up. Okay, there you go. I hear you. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you're using to play it, and then you suddenly don't have to worry about it, that could be pretty good. All right, so let's connect this way. We'll find out in a bit. I think that's right. Okay. Great. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff that's going there. All right, we'll get to that later. We're going to do the waist later, but we finished the legs. Hey, leg day is a success, everybody, because we got the legs done on this kit, and then we'll build the waist, and then, yeah, we got to build the waist and the backpack. The backpack is a big thing, the Zegok backpack, and then the weapons. There's not many weapons. There's one gun. It's very easy to build, and some beam sabers. And then there's like some weird weapon things that fit on the back that are kind of like guns. And then we'll like convert it into close combat mode, which is just the shoulders become claw arms and the backpack flips over. The head comes off. The head comes off. And then the backpack part flips over and becomes basically a Zegok body part, which is silly in a way that I think rules. But yeah, so I think we're going to finish this on Saturday, which means, oh Lord, you got a bunch of achievements. That's nice. But yeah, so my $10 patrons will have a vote probably tomorrow about what I build next, because I need something waiting in the wings, because I believe this will take the full stream on Saturday to finish the waist and build the backpack, and then the weapons, and then pose it. It might not, so I should know what I need to build next, but I'm going to be focusing on, we're finishing this kit. We're finally going to finish the fight on Saturday. Sorry, Thursday. Why am I saying Saturday? Today is Monday. Thursday's stream will be finishing this. That's not my next stream, though. My next stream is on Wednesday, where I will be playing Last Call BBS, focusing on the model kit builder in minigame in that particular product. So that'll be the thing I focus on. It won't be the only thing I play, because I'll probably play Solitaire and a few other things. On Thursday, Power Wash Simulator goes 1.0. I will download the full version on Thursday. And next Wednesday, we will close the door on Power Wash Simulator until there's DLC or updates that I want to stream. But we'll check out 1.0 next Wednesday, because I wish that the full version was coming out this Wednesday so I could stream it that night, but instead it's coming out on Thursday. So, and I'm not going to switch around my schedule just because of that. Was I tempted? Yeah. But anyway, thank you everyone for being here. We're not done quite yet, because we do have to raid. We are going to go find someone who's doing something cool on streams, and we're going to go hang out with them. Somebody that has like a fun community and like is playing something I'm interested in, and we'll go like see what they're up to. Hey, we haven't raided Jordan in a while. Jordan's playing Teamfight Tactics, and Jordan just rules, and so I want to go raid Jordan. So we're going to go hang out with Ray FK, which is Jordan, because Jordan's community is really nice. So we'll go hang out with him as he plays Teamfight Tactics. Yeah, John says we always end with a raid, because John is correct. We do always end the raid. And a reminder that Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, playing Last Call BBS, focusing on the model kits. I'll figure out how to mask on a computer there. Thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back to see us again. Thursday we'll be continuing. We're going to finish this model kit on Thursday. But right now we have to raid Jordan, because Jordan is streaming and we want to go hang out with him. And maybe he'll explain. He doesn't have to explain Teamfight Tactics to all of us, but maybe he will. Maybe he'll give us like an overview of what the fuck's up with that. But I hope everyone has a great night, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.